How Blackbeard became a legend in under 2 years. He was the most feared pirate in history, a name that made sailors' blood run cold across the Atlantic. But what if I told you his legendary reign of terror lasted only 2 years? From 1716 to 1718, one man invented the character of Blackbeard so brilliantly that the myth has outlasted entire empires. This is the story of how Edward Teach, a shockingly clever strategist, used fear as his ultimate weapon to build a legend that still haunts us centuries later. Section 1. The Making of a Monster. Before the beard and the smoke, he was just Edward Teach, a former British privateer. He learned the ropes during Queen Anne's War. When the war ended, Teach, like a lot of sailors, found himself unemployed and turned to piracy. He threw in his lot with the notorious pirate Benjamin Hornigold and quickly stood out as a sharp and capable leader. His big moment arrived in November 1717. In the open sea near the Windward Islands, Teach and his mentor spotted a massive French slaving ship, La Concorde. This wasn't some dramatic, cannon-blasting battle. The French crew was crippled by disease and in no shape to fight, so Teach's pirates took the vessel with barely a whisper of a struggle. Seeing his protégé's ambition, and with his own career as a pirate winding down, Hornigold let Teach take command of the captured prize. And this is where the genius of Edward Teach truly ignites. He didn't just grab a new ship. He created a symbol. He renamed it the Queen Anne's Revenge, a bold political jab at the British monarchy. Then, he crammed it with a terrifying number of cannons, turning it into one of the most formidable pirate vessels on the seas. The legend of Blackbeard now had its flagship. Section 2. The Theater of Fear. Blackbeard knew a simple, powerful truth. The threat of violence is way more efficient than violence itself. Why risk your life, your ship, and your gunpowder when you can make your enemies surrender in pure, mind-breaking terror? He carefully crafted an image of a demon straight from hell. He was a tall man with wild eyes and a thick black beard he'd twist into pigtails. His most famous trick? Tucking slow-burning fuses into his beard and under his hat, and then lighting them before a fight. Wreathed in smoke and fire, he looked like a devil emerging from the underworld. Merchant crews would take one look at this horrifying sight and immediately give up. His tactics were just as theatrical. He'd fly friendly flags to get close to unsuspecting ships. Once they were within range and couldn't escape, he'd raise his own flag. While we now imagine a specific flag of a skeleton spearing a heart, contemporary accounts only mention that he flew black flags with death's heads or simple bloody flags. The psychological shock was usually enough to do the rest. Section 3. The Peak of Power. By May 1718, Blackbeard's reputation was so huge that he tried his most daring stunt yet. He blockaded the entire port of Charleston, South Carolina. For about a week, he and his fleet of roughly 300 men captured every single ship that tried to enter or leave the harbor. But he wasn't just after treasure. His crew was sick, and he needed medicine. He took several of the town's most important citizens hostage and sent a chilling message to the governor. Send the medical supplies, or every prisoner would be executed and their ships burned. The city panicked and quickly met his demands. Blackbeard had proven he was more than a pirate. He was a force that could hold an entire American colony hostage. This is the real core of his legend. For all his terrifying theatrics, there are no confirmed accounts of Blackbeard torturing or murdering any of his captives before his final battle. His power was built almost entirely on masterful branding and psychological warfare. Section 4. The Final Battle. But a reputation that fearsome couldn't go unchallenged. The governor of Virginia, Alexander Spotswood, decided enough was enough. He sent Royal Navy Lieutenant Robert Maynard on a single mission: find Blackbeard and end him. On November 22, 1718, Maynard found him anchored at Ocracoke Inlet, North Carolina. Maynard came up with a clever trap. He hid most of his soldiers below deck, making his ships look severely undermanned. Thinking he had an easy victory, Blackbeard boarded Maynard's sloop, only to be ambushed by the hidden soldiers who swarmed the deck. What came next was a brutal hand-to-hand fight to the death. Blackbeard fought like a cornered animal. According to Lieutenant Maynard's own report, Blackbeard suffered an estimated 5 gunshot wounds and more than 20 sword cuts before he finally went down. CTA. The story of Blackbeard is a masterclass in how to build a legend. If you're fascinated by the cunning minds that shape history, make sure you like this video and subscribe for more. And let us know in the comments, was Blackbeard a vicious thug, or was he a strategic genius? In conclusion, to prove that the reign of terror was truly over, Maynard had Blackbeard's head cut off and hung from the bowsprit of his ship, a gruesome warning to anyone who dared follow in his footsteps. In just 2 short years, Edward Teach had constructed an immortal legacy. He created the pirate archetype we all picture today, a testament not to his cruelty, but to his incredible understanding of image and power. His greatest treasure wasn't gold or jewels. It was his story,